Alright, in this video, I'm going to show you two short clips to teach you about common law and how to talk to police officers. Because the police are your servants. They're not the authority over you, and you need to realize your authority over the police officer. Now, a couple of things I need to point out in his first video is how the police officer starts the actual confrontation by walking up to her and then saying, "Why is the camera in my face?" when she already had it out before he approached her. So he's already instigating and trying to start something. And police officers will do that to try to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you irritated and even threatened so that you're not thinking clearly. And then they can manipulate you. And some of the questions police officers will ask you is, where do you live? And do you understand? Now, she does the right thing on both of these questions. Because when a police officer asks you where you live and if you understand, they're not speaking to you in English. They're speaking a language called legalese that sounds like language. The words don't mean what you think they mean. When he says, "Do you understand?" he's not asking if you comprehend what he's saying. He's asking if you stand under his authority. That's why police officers ask that. They need you to say yes so that they can take authority over you, because they don't have any authority over you. And they ask where you live because they have no jurisdiction over living men and women, but they have jurisdiction over the dead. So when a police officer asks you where you live, you never say an address like 962 Banana Street, right? Because what you're telling that police officer is that you only live at that address. If you're not at that address, you're not alive. You see how that little Jedi mind trick works? Luckily, this lady says she lives in Alberta, which covers the entire area that she's in, so there's nothing they can do. She's living where she's standing. She's saying that she's alive, so they have no jurisdiction over her. So anytime a police officer asks you where you live, you tell them everywhere, under the sun, moon, and stars. I live everywhere. Because if you say you live at a certain place, then you're dead. And dead people have no rights, and they have jurisdiction over the dead. Right? The next thing is when a police officer says, "Do you understand?" you never say yes. You always tell them no. Luckily, she doesn't answer, so she doesn't give them any legal right to take authority over her. They do bully her because she's ignorant of the law, and they try to get away with it. But ignorance of the law is no excuse. That's why cops are able to get away with arresting people for not committing a crime, for roughing them up, humiliating them, molesting them, raping them, and even killing them. And people wonder why, how they get away with it. Well, because you gave them the authority to do that to you. And they have it on their body cam or some other camera testifying that you gave them the jurisdiction and the authority over you to do what they want to you so that they get away with it. It's the law, and ignorance of the law is no excuse. You need to know the law. Common law is the highest law of the land in America and here in Canada where this is taking place. So I'm going to show you this clip where the woman does the right thing and she gets to go away. And another woman who does the wrong thing and gets arrested even though she called the cops. So if you're wondering where this video is from, I'm watching End Time Dreams and Visions channel. It's this guy, Bob Barber, but it's this guy's video that he's hosting, Uptime, with Greg Messina here, and he's the host, and he has different people come on the panel, and one of them is showing this short clip. But yeah, check it out. I might have to rewind a couple of seconds because I think he's already up in her face. So let me see here. I'm at 49:14. Let me back up right here. Okay, let's start from here.
Why is the camera in my face right now? Are you here partaking?
Look at his eyes.
You walked
Right
up
now
to
you're
me.
in the red zone?
I'm scared. I want to go for a coffee down there. Can I go
Where's
for
your
a coffee?
residence, ma'am? Still being arrested
Pardon?
right
Do you
now.
live in this?
You're not excluded
here,
from that.
but I'm
Where do you live?
Alberta.
Time for you to leave.
I can't even go down there for
No,
coffee.
no,
Go grab your
you're
stuff
in the
and
red
leave.
zone right now. If you don't leave right now, you will be arrested. Do you understand me?
I can't go for a coffee.
Grab your stuff. If we see you, we'll be patrolling all day. If we see you again, it'll be different.
Leave. I tell you. Take your camera and get out of here. Do you understand that?
I'm walking away.
Walk away. Your phone doesn't need to be in our face until you're walking away.
Walking away.
Go.
Please have my phone.
Are you going to walk
Yes,
or are you going to get arrested?
I was
Go
walking
now.
away.
Get out of here.
Oh my goodness. Hope you can go to sleep at night.
Alright, so that was the first video. So you noticed that that officer asked her where she lived. She said Alberta, which covers that whole area, so she's a living being, so they have no jurisdiction. So they ask her a few times if she understands, and she doesn't respond. So they can't take jurisdiction and authority over her. So they try to bully her a little bit, knock the phone out of her hand, and try to get her to say, okay, because if she says okay, it's the same as saying yes, and she's agreeing that she can be arrested. But she never does that. She just says, I'm leaving, give me, grabs her phone. I don't know if she's aware of common law or not, or she's just, the grace of God was with her there that helped her just walk away. But I'm going to show you another example here. I'm not showing you this whole thing, but this is the body cam of the cop going over to talk to these people because a woman called the cops because a man who's painting the fence here choked a 7-year-old boy because he threw some paper on the ground. So, yeah, it seems like an overreaction, especially since you don't even see anything on the ground anywhere. And even if he did, whoop-de-doo. No reason to choke a child over that, even if the child was being rude and dismissive when you told him to pick it up or something like that. There's no reason to choke a 7-year-old child, especially a child that's not even yours, right? So she calls the cops, but she ends up getting arrested. I'm going to show you why, because she actually says okay to understanding the police officer.
Where's he at? What's going on? Hi. What's going on?
And it does seem a bit racist because he doesn't talk to the one who called the cops. He talks to this guy first. So it does look very racist. I'm not going to lie about that.
Okay, I got a problem with these people here.
Okay.
As a bit of comments throwing trash here.
Okay.
They make all the big fuss out of it. As the speakers, they don't want to do this. You want to start comments first in here?
Alright, this is a little bit
Okay.
low volume, so
What's
give me a
going on with
second.
My daughter and son came home.
I'm going to see if I can grab my speaker here. Alright, let me see if this is a little bit better.
Saying that this man grabbed him and choked him. I came around here and asked him, I said, why did you put your hands on my son? He said, oh, he threw some paper. I said, and I told him to pick it up. He said my son didn't pick it up. He defined him, so that's why he did it. Instead of following him home, he said, but y'all don't even live here. It doesn't matter where we live. You don't have the right to grab and choke nobody's son.
You see one of the things there where she's talking about where she lives? So she almost implied that she doesn't live where she's standing. Big mistake. You gotta be wary of your words. You gotta keep your calm.
Okay.
Nobody. So I have a problem with that. My son is 7 years old. You don't have the right to grab him, choke him behind no paper that he threw. What you should have done, because we have been living here for years, so you know that my house is a door in between yours. You could have came to me. Don't put your hands on my son.
All right. Well, why don't you teach your son not to litter?
He can't prove to me that my son littered. But it doesn't matter if he did or didn't. It doesn't give him the right to put his hands on him.
And you see how that officer tried to instigate, get her out of her comfort zone so she's not calm, she's not thinking clearly because he said something rude to her, right? Dismissing that her son was choked and be like, well, teach him not to litter, right? So it does seem racist here.
Why not?
Because he don't? It don't? What you mean?
I'm just asking.
Because it don't.
Huh?
It don't. He's not his parent. He's not his parent.
Okay.
So he don't
Why are you yelling at me?
Because why would you ask me, why don't I teach him? You don't know what I teach him.
Okay.
And you don't teach your kids don't mean that they go by your rules when they're not in your sight.
Why are you yelling at me?
Because you just pissed me off telling me what I teach my kids and what I don't.
If you keep yelling at me, you're going to piss me off and I'm going to take you to jail.
Okay.
You see? Right there, she said, okay. He has no jurisdiction or authority to take her to jail for yelling at him. But she said, okay, which means she's agreed to it. That's why, right then and there, he arrested her. Because she just gave him jurisdiction and authority.
You just arrest. You're going to jail. Get in the jail now. Over here now.
Don't move. You are live. Everything you just did is on live. I promise you that. I didn't do nothing.
So you see how that officer escalated things so that he could arrest her. Because he knows the law and he knows that she doesn't. And the daughter gets arrested too because she interferes. And basically why is because it's as if somebody was trying to stop you from taking what's rightfully yours, from taking your property. You have the right to defend yourself and to take your property. They have no right to interfere with that. And when she said okay, she's his now. She agreed, a verbal contract, that she'd be arrested if she keeps yelling. So he arrests her. And the daughter interferes and she gets arrested as well. But I'm not going to bring that part up. I'm just showing you how when you're dealing with police officers, you just need to stay calm. And you need to say you live everywhere. You need to say that you don't understand. And even when they laugh and go, you don't understand? You don't understand? And be like, no, I don't. No. Right? And if anything, you don't want to talk to them. You just say, I don't answer questions. You're dismissed. And the officer has to leave you alone when you say they're dismissed. Because you're the authority. They're not. The problem is you don't know it. You're ignorant of the law. And a lot of people are like this. So they don't know why this woman got arrested and this woman didn't. And it's because this woman agreed verbally to be arrested. That's why. Even though both of them didn't do anything wrong, a lot of people will look at this as racist, but it's not in this sense. They would have arrested this woman if she said she lived at a certain address. If she said, yes, she understands, she would have been arrested, even though I'm assuming she's white. Right? This woman, they wouldn't have been able to arrest her if she didn't say okay. She didn't agree to it. Right? So, granted, this guy, he seemed a bit racist, like he wanted to arrest her, and he didn't care that man there choked a 7-year-old boy. And he's white and she's black. So this cop may have the intention of being unreasonable because he's racist. Not going to say he's not. But either way, the cops are going to do that to white people, black people, Asian people, Latino people. It's all about the language. It's just more often that the white people are a little bit more aware of it and they don't agree to anything. Well, we see here this lady got a little bit emotional and ended up agreeing to it. And even if she wasn't emotional, might have agreed to it anyway because she's not familiar with the law and how the cops speak a completely different language. So that's how you got to realize it, is this when you're talking to a cop, you're speaking to somebody who's speaking another language. So when you say something that means something to you in somebody else's language, it may be some offensive phrase. Right? So you just need to keep that in mind and say very little to cops. If you want to answer the questions, you live everywhere. You don't understand. You don't answer questions, and they're dismissed. When you say they're dismissed, they're done doing whatever it is they're doing. They got to be out of your face. And of course, record it, because cops can lie and say that you never said those things. And sometimes you got to say things 3 times, because with their law, if you say something once, it may not really matter. She said, I think, okay 2 or 3 times. If you say something twice, it could be a coincidence. If you say it 3 times, then you establish it. Right? So sometimes you got to tell them something 3 times. That's why they'll keep questioning you about it. Just be patient. All right? So that was just 2 quick examples of how one individual, living woman, did not get arrested and another living woman did get arrested. And it's all because of your own authority that you gave to the officer or didn't give to the officer. You need to learn this. It's very key, because they got you bamboozled thinking that they're the authority when you are. And you need to take back that authority. So thanks for watching, and take care.